This ain't no regular thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. I shoot my shot and it's clean. This for my city, yeah, this for my team. If you talking, it's all to be nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm a champion. I'm a team. If you talking, it's all to be nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm a champion.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a beautiful Monday here in the area. DJ Yoakley and Anthony Hartwig with you. This is YSN Live, and it is brought to you thanks to our friends at Greenwood Chevrolet. They go the extra mile for you. Anthony, the extra mile, well, it came to the end for some teams over the weekend, and some teams keep on rolling on. You had a rough night. For local teams. You did not bring the juju.
Did not bring the mojo juju. Didn't bring any of it. It was not fun. I mean, it was fun. It was fun basketball. It was a fun night, but the end results were not fun
for our teams.
For
the teams that are YSN affiliated. You had the South Range game at first at 4 p.m. and then you had Crestview right after. The Crestview game was a nail biter.
Yeah.
In fact, overtime. Correct.
Yeah, second straight year that Crestview went to overtime in the district finals. And the Canton South, I want to give them some props. Their coach sent us a really awesome email with like a media guide, and I had like all the players, kind of interesting things about some of them, and they had two twins on their team that were both just game breakers, and they really pulled the Wildcats into that situation, being able to bring them into overtime. And of course, one of them made the game-winning shots down the stretch to put them up by 2 possessions. Crestview had their chances to tie again, send it to another overtime. I mean, they were right there. It didn't go their way, and there were just too many live ball turnovers on Crestview's side. I thought they sped up the game a little bit more than it had to be when they had the lead late. They had a 3-point lead late in the fourth quarter, and they had a transition opportunity, but they didn't really need to take it, and they did, and then it turned over, and Canton South came back down, tied the game up with a 3. And it was a bonkers game, very defensive, very physical, well officiated because they let a lot go on both sides, so I like that. I mean, if you're going to let a lot go, better do it on both sides. So it was a good championship game. Unfortunately for Crestview, it didn't go their way.
All right, so I got to ask the question because it felt, just from the pictures that I saw, just from simple observations, it felt like the South Range loss, you felt almost fulfilled because they had beaten a couple teams that maybe some people say that they shouldn't have. They were probably in a position that they were excited to be in this particular year, given the competition they were up against and naturally what they lost last year and years prior. And then you had the other side. I mean, kind of happy faces in the South Range picture. And then you had the other side. Crestview did not look so excited to be holding a runner-up trophy.
Yeah. The different expectations from different games. I think South Range went into that game knowing that they would have to climb a big mountain to beat Norway. And I thought Norway was so impressive, by the way. Just full of big players that were strong, physical. They had a freshman post that South Range couldn't do anything for, but she could hit threes too if you kept her out of the paint. Really good team. Very impressed with Norway. But South Range kind of knew. Jeff made the joke on Friday that their bus would have to break down. It was actually funny. Their bus had a flat tire across the street. They had to get a tire replaced to get into the parking lot. So Jeff almost predicted that. Luckily for Norway, it was right across the street. Nothing major happened there.
We got to make him push a little further next time.
But it was one of those things where I think South Range felt when they at the end of the game, they still felt validated that they got there because they put in all the hard work, right? They put on all the hard work in practice. We talked about with Coach Fishel on Friday that the girls that stepped up right when they were allowed to in the spring and got shots up and kind of put their foot in the ground a little bit and said, we're gonna be different this year. And they did hit some bumps along the way, but they kind of proved that they were that team that could get this far. And it validates all the hard work that they put in that nobody sees. And I think that's what Coach Fishel was talking about in his coach's corner, finally getting the results that he knows the girls have worked so hard to get. And I think it validated a little bit. And they are going to bring everyone except CC Foster back. So they have a roster that's locked and loaded for next year, and they hope that this experience from getting to a district championship will propel them to a even better season next year. And I think they're kind of excited about that. They're excited about, okay, we got something cooking now. We have some motivation to get back here next year and try to flip the table a little bit.
And then as far as Crestview goes, I mean, where do you look from here? What's the silver lining for the Rebels?
Crestview, it was one of those games where it kind of felt, for the first half at least, they were kind of pressing a little bit. Like they didn't want what happened last year to happen again so bad that they were kind of in that mode where they it's kind of silly, but they wanted it too much a little bit, and they felt tight. They felt like they were I felt like they were kind of forcing things that didn't need to be forced. They had a great run to end the first half. They ended the first half on a 14-0 run, took an 8-point lead into halftime. That's when I kind of felt like, okay, this is when the real Crestview is going to show up. But unfortunately for them, there was a team on the other side that already had momentum and belief and confidence. They came out in the second half and kind of took it to them in the third quarter. They won the third quarter. I believe it was 16-5 for Canton South. And then the fourth quarter was just even knockdown, drag out, who's going to make the most plays down the stretch. And it ended up being tied, of course, after 4 going to overtime. I thought they limited Addison Rhodes pretty well on defense. She scored 21, but she really couldn't get into that takeover mode where she scored 10, 12 points in a row that really demoralizes teams that we've seen across the board. And they kind of limited Lavraine Gaskins a little bit on offense. She still got her rebounds, got a couple of really awesome blocks. So she
saw that, yeah.
Always does. But offensively, they limited her a little bit. She got 10 points, which is below her season average. So they were able just to limit those two enough. Canton South was on defense to kind of keep them in the game. I think Crestview needed that third score. They needed that third score to come up and get them another 8-10 points. And it just didn't happen. Ava Busey was the next one below with 6. She hit 2 threes. One big one in overtime that got them within 2. But they just couldn't get that third score to give them another 10-point bonus that they kind of usually get in close games to propel them forward. So a couple of things I want to shout out there that I really saw that really makes me optimistic about the future of Crestview. One, I think this game was one of the clear pictures of maturity that we've seen from sophomore now going into junior year. Breida Cross as a point guard. You look at her last year as a freshman, really good point guard, really good basketball IQ, really good speed, but she tended to get frustrated when she was pressured, when she was pushed around a little bit with physical defense. This year, there were a lot of opportunities for Breida Cross to lose her head in that game. They were playing very physical defense, pushed around a little bit. There were fouls called on her. She eventually fouled out in overtime. There were a lot of times when she could have lost her head. There was actually one time where I think she took herself out of the game and sat on the end of the bench, talked to one of her coaches just to cool herself down because she realized, hey, I'm losing my mind a little bit right now. So saw really good maturity growth from her, and I'm excited what she's going to bring another year as a junior. And the other thing that I just got to shout out again, another reason why I think Addison Rhodes is so special. Sat down last to leave the bench. She watched all of Canton South, the celebration. She took it all in. She's going to use it as fuel. But then also, as she left the bench, she was the one that made sure that bench was clean, that left it as well as they got there. There was no trash left on the bench. She made sure that the team was not going to be that team that gets real mad, they lose, they don't pick up anything, and they walk in the locker room. It's one of the things, like, she was obviously very frustrated. She slammed the ball into the ground after the game was over. But to be able to still have that character when you're that frustrated, that pissed off, and to still have that high character thing where I'm going to clean this bench up because this is just what I'm about, that shows me, well, she's just special, right? She's just a special player that does things the right way. And she's going to get the results as a team before her career's over. I'm kind of stamping that. I'm thinking, when I saw her watching Canton South celebration, it was kind of like one of those moments where I'm like, uh-oh, like next year something's coming. She's gonna intake that, and it's gonna feed her for the next 365 days.
Well, I think one of the things that you hopped over, but you alluded to so much in the broadcast, which I at home watching and kind of taking notes and scribbling down notes for today's show, I at least picked up on was Crestview had some foul trouble, and you saw it in the late stages of that game with Breida Cross, and I don't have my notes in front of me. I apologize. So there was 2 foul outs, like bang bang in overtime, right?
Mm-hmm. I think Busey fouled out too.
Busey, that's who. Yeah, that's exactly who it was. So when you look at that, what was it about the early stages of that game? Were they frustration fouls? Were they ticky tacky fouls? Were they just just kind of happened fouls? What was it? And were they avoidable at that point? And I'm not putting it on anybody, but you've got to have your best players down the stretch, and naturally Busey and DeCross, you just alluded to, being big players in that game, especially when they're limiting Laverne Gaskins and Addison Rhodes to what is under what their normal numbers are.
I think a big part of the foul trouble, especially for Bree DeCross, because she was guarding the Hastings Peterson twin, Summer Hastings Peterson, who led Canton South with 19 points. She loved the drive. It was the dribble drive, and she was just aggressive on offense. And if you're aggressive on offense and you're able to beat someone off the dribble, you're going to get them to either foul you or you're going to get easy buckets on the end. And Crestview, there were times when they would say, hey, we're going to foul you rather than let you get right to the hoop. So like I said, it was a pretty physical game. And I think even though they did have two players that fouled out in extra time, I thought especially in the fourth quarter, because Bree DeCross picked up her fourth foul with like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter and was still able to play pretty good ball pressure defense throughout the rest of that frame and still play aggressive defense. So I don't think the foul trouble took away what Crestview wanted to do defensively. I think a lot of those points down the stretch that really hurt them came from loose ball turnovers that Canton South turned into easy layup opportunities on the other end.
Seniors for Crestview, obviously probably torn up about this one, probably will be for a while, but they've got nothing to hang their head about.
It was tough to watch. It was the seniors coming off out of the locker room. This is that was a gut punch because they felt like they were geared up to have a big run this year, and it didn't. It came out of nowhere. Like Canton South, you look at their results. They play in a lot of close games, and I think I alluded to that in the broadcast too. That could be something down the stretch where Crestview, no fault of their own, because they played up this year. That is, none of those games ended up those ones where they were really going down the stretch and needing to make plays in the fourth quarter to win. Canton South, almost every game was in like 10 points. So they played in close games all over the place. Some of them wins, some of them losses, but they knew how to play in those kind of late in the fourth quarter close game situations. And I think they were a little bit more composed down the stretch of the fourth quarter because of it.
Other teams that move on in girls basketball include Western Reserve. Congratulations to them. Canfield, a tough ending for Maplewood, I saw as well. And then
Perry was able to beat West Branch.
And then Warren JFK.
Warren JFK. How about, can we talk about Gianna Pompilia?
Go ahead, buddy.
I mean, my gosh, 43 points in a district championship game. She tied the other team, 43-43. She needed 43 to get 1,000, and it was like that was her mission. I'm just going to get 43 right now, getting out of the way.
But it wasn't. Because I know somebody's going to take that the wrong way.
I know. It was one of those things like the universe was just like, hey, you're going to get 43 tonight, and we're not going to let that stop. And it ended up being free throws that gave her that 1,000th point. Just an incredible performance. You look at Gianna Pompilia since Dee Ryan got hurt, averaging 24 points per game since then. Just stepping up, saying, hey, I need to score for my team. And what else can you ask from her than scoring 43 in a district championship? It was amazing to be able to see some of the highlights and some of the things that went down from what she was able to do. Scored all the different ways too, driving, shooting, getting fouled.
We talked to Dee on Friday. We'll have her interview here shortly, and her brother Nick as well. It's a Ryan show today here on the YSN Live. We will have G Pomp tomorrow, along with Anaya Johnson rather, and then we will have Phillips and Swagger on tomorrow from the boys team as well. So we've got a lot of JFK coming at you over the next couple of days. Anthony, you talked about this JFK team. You talked about the big dog, Pompilia. I mean, she'd be up for a big dog nomination this week in week 8 if she hadn't already won the whole thing. So it's going to be an interesting week 8 because a lot of the big players, so to speak, had already won big dog. So we'll see what shakes out in the nominations. But when you talk about this JFK team, one of the things that a lot of people were worried about was when Dee Ryan went down. was, what is this going to look like? Who's going to step up? Are they going to be able to quote unquote fill the shoes? But as much as, as good as JFK was with Didi, it seemed like the lion's share got spread out amongst all of the Lady Eagles over that time. And the support system, the checks and balances, right? I always have that little weight that they have for justice scales, right? The scales of justice. It always resonates with me because sometimes you lose a player that could be considered one of the best players in this area and multitude of sports, and your team falls off. And on the other side, you have the JFK Eagles who continue to believe in each other, support each other, and win no matter who steps up on any given night. As you said, with Pompilia hitting that 43 and she needed 43, it's a scenario that she was going to score and the teammates were allowing her to score if she was able to score. Mm-hmm. If they were going to shut her down, somebody else certainly would have stepped up in that place. And I think this Didi Ryan interview we're going to see here in about 20 minutes, you're going to see someone who cares about her teammates as much, if not more, than she cares about her stats and her, the things that she puts on her shelf, when it comes to trophies and accolades.
One of the things that also is going to go under the radar when someone scores 43, the other team's not dumb. Once you score like 20, they're going to be like, hey, we probably should guard this girl. And what JFK really executed really well was ways to get the open with offensive sets, executing really well, screening really well, rebounding really well. It's easy to get open when your teammates are getting offensive rebounds and then kicking it back out. So things that kind of don't go into the stat sheet for points that JFK was able to do to get her open, even when Crestwood was like, hey, we got to stop number 2. Obviously they're not dumb. They have coaches over there that got to a district championship for a reason. They are going to try to stop her, but JFK was executing the half court sets really well to get her points.
And that was the interesting part is, most people sit there, oh, just stop her. And that's like, okay, but if it's like plugging holes on a boat that's sinking, like you plug one, 2 more over here, open up, because you can't it's not done like that. It makes me laugh because people talk about it at every level of sport. It's that easy. And they think the coach is just some jackalope that's like, oh, gee willikers. Yeah, we could just stop there.
Should have guarded number 2.
Gosh. I mean, to watch a Super Bowl, right, with someone who hasn't watched football for the entire year, and they go, "We'll just stop Saquon Barkley."
Just block the guys, man.
Just block them. Like it's funny almost. Like when I was younger, it got me heated up because you're trying to like show your knowledge and that you're not just some young dumb, guy that loves the game. But like it doesn't matter. There's always that guy. Everyone knows a guy or a gal that you roll your eyes because you're watching a game with them and you're like, all right, just make the shot. Oh, because they wanted to miss that. That was their intent, was to miss that shot.
And I'm sure you love just throw strikes.
Oh, nothing's worse. Like to me, nothing's worse. And like also getting on the umpire when they're not calling balls or strikes. Like as a catcher, I would sit outside the zone and make it look like from the outside that it was a strike. It was nowhere close. They threw it right to me. It was deceitful.
That's another reason why just throw strikes is kind of stupid because sometimes strategically you're not trying to throw strikes.
Yeah, if you're up 0-2, you're not trying to throw a strike usually.
Hopefully.
Big weekend. Big weekend for basketball. Yeah, big weekend for basketball.
Hoban also moving on, by the way. Hoban girls win a district championship, and they're moving on.
Shocked.
I think that's the last one. Perry, Canfield, Hoban, Warren, JFK, Western Reserve. So we have 5 teams in regionals.
Canfield. So a lot to talk about. We'll have tomorrow to break this down too as well. So we don't want to overstuff you on the stuff that happened over the weekend. Crestview, their boys coming to a close as well to the hands of South Range, which, man, Range was shooting lights out. I saw more and ones on Friday night than I think I've ever seen in my life. Maybe collectively this year on Friday night. It was incredible, and the only time the whistle was blown was when somebody's going to the rack. It was nuts. It was absolutely crazy.
When that offense is able to run, and there's something else. Like if you don't slow them down, they're a freight train, and there's a point when you're not going to stop them.
East Liverpool boys as well, advancing. We'll have their game. Fingers crossed, by the way, we'll have their game because I don't know if you're having as much trouble as I am of trying to locate where these games are. You probably have some giant blueprint.
The East District is weird.
They had it in Zanesville, and then I found out it's not in Zanesville. It's in St. Clairsville. And I mean, to me, it might as well be in the same place because I have no idea, better or worse, where either one are. Zanesville, I know, is a while away because we had to take a trip to Zanesville.
Mm-hmm.
And then St. Clairsville, I want to say, isn't that far.
For you, it's probably, it's not terrible. That's where the OVAC championships were too. They were in St. Clairsville. They weren't in St. Clairsville High School, but they were in St. Clairsville.
This is like about an hour then ish. Yeah. Okay, so that's not that bad. We're going to try to get that. We also are told that the Warren JFK game will most likely be covered for the girls. And then we have the Canfield girls game, Canfield boys game will be covered. Canfield versus Salem.
Yep. This will be tomorrow.
So tomorrow night. We also, might as well
Boardman,
pull it up.
Right?
Boardman, we'll have Boardman working out the finer details on that one because why wouldn't it be an absolute crap show going into it?
Also, McDonald's road trip to Kirtland. I look like the spreadsheet looks like it's sponsored as well.
Yeah, it is sponsored. It'll be Zach Brazil, believe it or not. You remember old Zach Brazil? Pretty good ball player in his own right.
Pretty good. His dad was a pretty good coach too.
Yeah, Zach doing well for himself, starting his own business, I believe. So he said, "Hey, I want to sponsor." So it's very cool to see Zach getting re-involved with us in a different way, other than just shooting the lights out. He's keeping the lights on. So thanks, Zach. Appreciate you. Larry Jennings will have that call for you. I'll be at the Boardman game. Elite Windows and Door will sponsor the Avon versus Boardman game. We also have Cuyahoga Heights and Grand Valley, which is sponsored by Easton Culligan. Sam Torres will have the call on that one. Looks like Bay Village and Jefferson will be covered as well. New Vision Eye Care. Scott Demos will have that one. Ty Bartell has raised his hand for the Canfield game against Salem. Rob Donahue State Farm will have the sponsorship of that, and we have like I said, East Liverpool and Maysville. It'll be at St. Clairsville in the I don't know if it's the ECO or Eco Center. That one's going to be sponsored by The Vault in East Liverpool. And then we have Wednesday locked in, the Crestwood versus South Range game. Early Bird Childhood Learning Center will be sponsoring that. And we also, looks like we will have Chippewa at Poland. And we're locking down the sponsorship on that one as we speak. So lots of games, and we've got even more opportunities. So if you're out there and you want a game covered, please let us know. What?
I was going to say a lot of regional games, a lot of district games. It's coming down.
Let us know. We want to be able to make these journeys for you, but it's got to be like today or tomorrow, because please don't. It was so hard on Saturday, so challenging on Saturday to be juggling.
We got one in the midnight hour, but it was
two in the midnight hour. And that was the day that I was supposed to be making graphics.
I was sitting there like, okay, Poland wants one, and it's like 2:00.
Yeah. And then Heartland got one at the last second as well. You know, it was just kind of lucky.
Lucky that you have students that do those games.
And Mark Franken, God bless you.
Mark Franken.
Appreciate you. Heartland gets the win as well. Poland gets the win. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's good luck, but let's not do it, because we're testing my heart when we're doing that, because it is a challenge. And we're going to be short-staffed on Wednesday. I know that. I will be out. Noah Doty will be out. So, man, get these in as quickly as you can, and we'll try to do our best to get announcers out there. But we appreciate the support, no matter when it comes or how it comes, certainly right here on the network. All right, I need to pull this in. Overall, Ant, successful weekend, or do you think we had a trying weekend in this area for basketball?
No, I think overall YSN family. I think anytime you get 5 teams into the regional tournament, you have a successful weekend. We had a possibility, but we were going to get 1 no matter what in the Perry West Branch game. But we had a possibility of 9, and we get 5 out of 9. That's better than 50%. So
it's majority.
There you go.
I had the chance on Friday to talk to Nick Ryan, and Nick. He's like interviewing Superman. It's incredible. He is so humble. I know I say this about a lot of kids. He is so humble. I had to drag it out of him to talk about himself, but it was so cool to talk to him. And we talked to Didi on Friday as well. So we're gonna break out those interviews here. And if you miss anything, we'll have them on the site tonight on YouTube and on ysnlive.com. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here is Nick Ryan. Hi, everybody. DJ Yokley here with another player profile for Warren JFK, a very special one. Not that they're all special, or not that they're all not special, but this one, one that people have been clamoring for. They want to hear from this young man. He's had quite the career. Everything he does turns to gold, essentially. A guy that is just shy of about 2,000 points and 1,000 rebounds in his career. The reigning, defending, undisputed slam dunk champion for YSN, and a guy that everybody loves off the floor as well. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Nick Ryan. Nicholas, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing great, dude. Better now that you're here, but certainly not as good as you. This season has been something incredible. You've posted a 50-point game. You've been everybody's kind of watching you. You've been the guy around the area that people keep tabs on. What is that like? Are there pressures? Do you kind of feel yourself a little bit? And how do you handle it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's an honor that I'm at that point, in my career where people are keeping tabs on me and things like that. But it is a little bit of pressure, but at the same time too, me and my dad talk about it all the time. This is what I've worked my whole life for. So, I always wanted to be like that guy, and that's what I've worked for a very long time. So, yeah, it's an honor for sure.
Naturally, when games are on the line, people are looking at you. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're having a good game, bad game, or indifferent. They're looking to you and seeing what you're doing. Teammates alike, I would imagine. I mean, how you say that? Yeah, you feel that pressure. But like, how do you compartmentalize it when a game's on the line, or the season is quote unquote on the brink? As you guys move into the playoffs, how are you dealing with those pressures mentally?
I just believe that everything happens for a reason. God has a plan and whatever happens, it's going to happen no matter what. So I just that gives me that peace of mind to no matter whatever happens, I'm okay with the outcome. But obviously, it'd be nice to win.
What I love about you most is as much attention as you get, you always deflect it to your teammates, your coaches, and your family, your community. Why is that? Why is that important for you and for those watching you, those young eyes that, hey, one day I want to be as good as Nick Ryan. I want to be the kind of player that he is. I want to be the kind of man that he is. Why is that important to you to put others first, I guess?
Well, I mean, for one, the community, my family, everybody around me, my school, they've always had my back. So, I always got to make sure I give them credit whenever I, have a big accomplishment or do something good. And then as far as the kids go, I was that little kid once who was looking up to the high schoolers. So I always make sure, make it a priority to give them a good example, be a good role model for them, and try and do, always say what's up to them, give them a high five, dap them up in the hallways, whatever. So they know, I see them.
You mentioned it. Who are some of the high schoolers that you looked up to that really kind of put their wings around you?
Yeah, for sure. Justin Bofinkamp. He graduated from Kennedy 2017. So like my whole life, I looked up to him. Cam Hollabaugh, another big one. I always looked up to him. I always thought he was, he was the man. I mean, he was the man. So, and, he always treated me very well. So those two for sure.
When you're thinking about wearing that K, in whatever capacity it is, and you've done so much within that school district, what how does that K make you feel, and how do you want to embody that, how have you wanted to embody that along the way?
The K is a special thing to wear on your chest. I mean, we say it a lot, we are Kennedy, we are family, but I mean, that's the truth around here. We are family, and everybody gets along like we're family. We support each other like we're family. So it's like, I want to represent that in the best way possible every time I put on the K, for sure.
Last year, the All-Star game, the slam dunk contest, we talked about, what you did. People still clamoring about that. I'm not going to put the pressure on you here, so don't worry. You always have that open invitation as a champion. But, I mean, when you're doing that in the way that it was done, that gym was packed, so many people on you. Do you always feel the need when that pressure is on you, or that big moment is happening, to rise and meet it? Or, and where do you get that from? How can you practice that? Or is it just something you've always had?
I'd like to say it's something that I've always had, but also, I mean, it comes with preparation. I'm confident in my ability because of the way I prepare. I always work hard. I try to do everything to the best of my ability. So, when that occasion does come, I can rise to the occasion.
You mentioned your preparation. I was talking to a young man who was absolutely almost googly-eyed, because he came back and he said, I got to work out with Nick Ryan today. And that dude is the real deal. When you talk about preparation, I mean, there's a lot of hours that are happening when those lights aren't shining. Talk to me about, where you learned your work ethic, understanding that there needs to be preparation, no matter how much skill or talent you have. The hard work needs to come first.
Well, yeah, I mean, it for sure started when I'd say about fourth grade, when I started playing basketball. And I told my dad, I wanted to be the best player to come out of Kennedy ever. And he told me, he's like, it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of preparation, like we're talking about. But I think you could do it one day. For him to, tell me that and believe in me meant a lot, for sure.
What are some of the things that people don't know go into your preparation, go into your work prep?
It's going to be some days, it's going to be like yesterday, for example. I went to practice, went and lifted right after practice, and then got extra shots up. Like, there's going to be days like that. And then, after a long school day, it's like, it's going to be hard, but sometimes you got to do the things you don't want to do in order to be great.
You talk about that school day. What is the favorite subject right now, and who teaches it?
Well, I got a couple favorite subjects. I mean,
fair enough.
One, WJFK, which is the news station we do. Mrs. Particular sitting right here. So I got to give a shout out to her. I mean, that's always fun, part of the day. But another one is theology. My theology teacher, Mr. Klogner, he's a great guy. He also talks to me about sports all the time. Mr. Carabia, too. Both of my theology teachers and philosophy teachers, I mean, they're great.
Theology seems to be a hot topic at JFK right now. I love it. What is it about theology that you enjoy?
Well, I mean, one is just the learning about our faith is a very, very big part of, I feel like, a lot of people's lives here. And I mean, to get further into depth of, the knowledge of that is awesome. And then the teachers too are just, both the teachers we have are incredible. I mean, they've helped me grow my faith so much. And like, once again, too, they talk about sports with us. They talk about everything with us. So, I mean, our theology department is very good here.
What are some? I mean, obviously, there's people out there that want you. You've worked really hard to look to potentially the next level. What are the plans for Nick Ryan moving forward?
I'm not 100% sure yet what the plans are moving forward. I do have some interests from some college. I mean, D2, D3 mostly. So I got to figure that out for sure. But right now, I'm just kind of focused on the rest of the season, trying to make the best of it.
I mean, this is a big time of year. This is the March Madness, but we're in February, naturally. What do you love most about being able to have a season that's essentially win and move on, lose and go home?
Well, especially being a senior too, having that lose or go home mentality. I mean, you can't be denied every game. It is going to be your last, if you lose, obviously. So, I mean, you got to play like it. You got to play at 150%. There's no more messing around.
What has been one memory you've had on the floor at JFK that you'll treasure forever right
now? I'd say two for sure, winning the district title last year. That was obviously the first district title I ever won. So that was an awesome moment, especially doing it with the guys that graduated last year. They were an awesome group. And then the second one would be breaking the boys scoring record just a few weeks ago. That was for sure a special moment because, like I said, that's something I've worked for my whole life. So doing that was just incredible.
Is there a cap for you? I mean, is there something where you're looking at hey, okay, this is the best I can do with this, or do you just continue to surprise yourself and kind of the goals that you've had along the way?
I mean, I don't want to sound arrogant or anything like that, but I've always believed in myself. I always believed one day I'd do like big things, and that's what I've worked for. So, I mean, every time I do something like set an accomplishment or set a goal or whatever, I always think I'm going to be able to do it. And then once it happens, I'm like, all right, but what's next? I always try to look for what's next.
I know that you're not right at picking the school yet, and there's people that want you naturally, but what do you want to do when you get to school off the floor? I mean, what are some of the things that you want to focus and study?
I've thought about a lot of things. Right now I'm kind of leaning towards education, being a teacher, and then also coaching. I want to be a coach too, and give back to my community, just like all the coaches have done for me.
Don't give up those WJFK dreams, man. I'm telling you, you could be sitting where I'm sitting one day because the smarts are there. Obviously, the interest in sports are there, and you've got the voice for it. You got that deep bass voice that you can pelt it out. Could you ever see yourself, with a career in sports or being invested in sports on the other side of the microphone?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's also something that I've thought about. Doing something like you're doing right now. I mean, I think that's awesome too. So we'll see,
Dude, there's a chair right there for you. You tell me it's done. It's over. I mean, you've a young man with so many beliefs, values, obviously that was formed somewhere and forged somewhere. Who are some of the people that have made you into the man that you are today?
Well, obviously my parents. I mean, I can't say enough about them, the way they raised me. I mean, it was just like they were always, put faith first, always put your family first too, those go hand in hand, faith and family. And then to just be a good young man, they've always disciplined me and raised me the right way, really. So, my parents, and then I also gave, shout out to my theology teachers as well, because they've helped me deepen my faith in God and stuff like that. So and that's also, I think that's helped me grow as a person.
We had an interview earlier with a young lady you might know, and she said that you and your brother, one of her role models, your sister Dee Dee, obviously a very tough break for her this year. How have you kind of stepped in and shown her the big brother love that we all know from our own families? How have you stepped in and told her that it's going to be all right and helped her battle through the adversity she's going through?
Yeah, Dee Dee, she's a strong girl, so I know that she's going to end up getting through this, and she's going to come back even better because she's going to work so hard at it. And, so it's like every day just going and being in that big brother role, going in, checking in on her, making sure she's okay. If she needs anything, helping her with it. I'm obviously not opposed to doing that, and I gladly do it for her because, I love her. That's my sister.
She also let us know that she snaps her fingers and you bring her water. Is that true or is that fabricated?
I don't know if it's at the snap of the fingers, but I'll do it eventually for her. It'll get done.
And then lastly, she said she would never let you cook food for her. Why is that?
Probably because I can't cook.
You can't cook anything?
Maybe some scrambled eggs. That's about it.
Scrambled. I was going to say, what's the one thing that you can cook right now that is going to impress anybody?
I don't know if it'll be impressive, but it'll be edible.
Eggs, scrambled eggs.
Eggs, yeah.
You go with the milk too, or do you just go eggs, straight eggs?
Like, do I use milk with the eggs, like to make it?
to make the eggs fluffy is what I was told.
No, usually I don't. I'll just do some olive oil. That's what I do and boom, cook the eggs.
All right, couple quick fast break questions here for you. Number one, fast food restaurant you always go to?
Chick-fil-A, probably.
Chick-fil-A. Okay, what's the go-to there?
I got to get grilled sandwich. I like the grilled sandwiches better than the regular sandwiches for some reason. I don't know. Then fries, Coke, and then 8-count nugget on the side. But I like the regular 8-count. I don't like the grilled nuggets more than the regular nuggets. It's a little weird, but I don't know why.
That's a little wild because you got the grilled sandwich and then the regular nugget. Okay,
right.
We'll let you live with that.
Weird.
You've done well for yourself, so we'll let that one slide. What's ultimately, I mean, if you could do anything job-wise for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
Oh, that's a tough question. I mean, like I said, probably something where I'm able to give back to my community and educate them in the right proper manner, especially with sports too. You know, I want to be like a role model in the sports world, I think.
The Nick Ryan Jukebox, there's one song that is always on it, and there's one song that is never allowed on your jukebox. What are they?
I don't know. That's a very, very tough question. I mean, there's not too many things I don't like as far as music goes. I can't even say one particular song. I like it all. Rock, country.
There's no song out there that you're like, I hate this song. If I hear it again, I'm going to go nuts.
Not off the top of my head. I can't think of one.
He's a lover, folks, not a fighter. Is there, oh, here we go. One player, teammate that you would not give the aux cord to in the locker room?
Maybe, shoot. That's a good, I don't know. That's also another good one. Let me think about it for a second. Maybe Christian Swagger. He's sitting right here, but I don't know about his music taste. You know,
what would he play that you'd say absolutely not?
Probably just some really weird music. Like I don't know. He's like really. He'll play something really strange.
Teammate that you'd love to go out to eat with?
All of them. I love all my teammates. I know that's cliche, but all
good
of them.
answer. Good answer. Favorite when you get the schedule release, what's the team you look forward to playing most?
I'd say probably Canfield because I'm good buddies with a lot of the guys on there. You know, Drew Shapiro, Ben Weaver, Jake DeLucia, all of them. Those guys are, you know, they're like my friends. And then also Dylan O'Hara is the assistant coach, and I work out with him. He's like a brother to me, basically. So, yeah.
Fair enough. And ultimately, you get to be a superhero for one day. What superpowers are you taking?
I'd say probably being able to fly.
Being able to fly? Where would you fly to?
I fly everywhere. I don't know, not in one place in particular.
Well, I hate to break it to you, kiddo, but you've already have this superpower to fly. We've all seen it, in person. Nick, thank you so much for taking time for us today. We're so proud of you, and naturally continued success in everything that you do, my brother.
Hey, thank you. I really appreciate you having me on. It was great. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Very special interview coming up here on YSN Live. It is DJ Yokley, and we are joined by a young lady who has defied the odds basically her entire life. She comes from a great family full of athletes, but naturally she stands out amongst the crowd. Then there was a devastating injury. And today we're going to talk about what she's been able to do and how she's been able to stay, kind of heads up and keep her mental welfare in the positive and just keep going, because sometimes it can be a trying time, especially in high school, when there are uncharted waters. So at this time, we bring in one of the best goal scorers in soccer in YSN history, one of the fastest young ladies you'll ever see, one of the highest character young ladies you'll ever meet. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, the setback is nothing compared to what is to come. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we bring in Dee Ryan. Dee, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. Was that intro all right? Do I need to go back and add more to that resume?
More than enough. That was more than enough.
Talk about, from the get-go, you have stood out. Obviously, JFK is a place that's very special to you, and to do it with your teammates, to have all that success on the soccer field or pitch, depending on where you're from, and then the basketball court, everything that you do in the classroom, on the field, on the court, in the community. We talked about it before. How does this set you back, or does it at all?
Well, to me, this is not a setback. It's just a test from God to make me stronger. I know that it's in His plan that this is not going to hold me back or, keep me at a spot, I'm just going to excel from, where I am right now and come back stronger.
All right, walk us through, and I know, and if you don't want to, you don't have to, but walk us through kind of what happened the night of the knee injury.
So, I think it was like the beginning of the second quarter. Um, I was like literally just dribbling to the hoop like I always do. And I was like, I fall and I'm like, well, that's weird. And usually I pop right back up and I start running and get back on defense or something. And I was like, wow, I can't get up. So my teammate Gianna Pompilia comes and like picks me up like from the ground and I start walking away and I'm like, wow, I can't walk. And I was like, oh, this isn't good. So I go out in the hallway and I'm talking to the trainer and he's like, he's not giving me many answers. And I'm like, okay, I'll just walk it off. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you think. So I go back in the game and I'm running down the court and I like take a turn and my leg like buckles beneath me. So that was like when I knew. I was like, okay, I can't play anymore. Um,
So there was no pain.
That's when I knew something was wrong.
There was no pain in it?
No.
It
I was not hurt. I didn't have any pain. My knee didn't swell up. Like usually you see people with like the really big knee. I did not have that. Because most of the doctors that I went to were like, I don't know what's wrong with you because you don't have any pain or swelling. I was doing squats and like bending my knees perfectly fine. But it's just that side to side movement. You know what I mean? Like I could jog in a straight line, but when you go to side, it like just like gives out.
So it turned out to be the ACL?
I'm sorry, you cut out.
I'm sorry, it turned out to be the ACL?
Yeah, just the ACL, thankfully.
Was it a complete tear? What was the diagnosis?
Yeah, complete tear.
Incredible. So the time to get you back on the field, on the court, whatever, what is that? What's that timetable?
Right now it's looking like 6 to 8 months, but I'm probably just gonna, I'm just gonna stick it out till I feel like I'm fully ready to go back. I don't want to rush anything because I don't want to make it worse or not come back to my fullest potential. So right now I'm just staying patient
And
and
that's
just
great.
like yeah. Yeah, I'm
To
just
stay.
hoping that like my recovery goes well.
So what do you have to do to get well? I mean, what's the therapy like for you?
Well, right now, the main thing is just like being able to bend my knee. It's really weird. Like, I like live my everyday life now, and I'm like, wait, my leg, like, there's something wrong with it because I can't like bend my knee like a normal person. So, right now, it's just focusing on getting my knee bend back and being able to walk without a limp.
That's I love that you're laughing through all of this because guess what? If you wouldn't laugh, you'd cry, right? It's one of those
Yeah.
scenarios with no pain, with nothing to really sit there and go, okay, well, it had to be challenging in your mind to
Oh,
say,
yeah.
okay, what's why is my body failing me right now? And then to go to the doctors. Obviously, you get a second opinion and you get all of that, and they're telling you, we don't know what's wrong with you. Like you said, that
Mhm.
had to be trying for you mentally.
Yeah.
What was that like? And then as the season continues to go, as you're out because they're trying to figure things out, what was that like for you?
Well, honestly, it just really sucks because, like, obviously sports are like a really big part of my life. So, like, just sitting there and not knowing what's wrong with me and watching my teammates play and, like, knowing that it would usually be like me on the court with them, like, having a good time, just like doing what I love. Like, that was the worst part for me. Like, just thinking, like, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I know I can't play. And that's what was like the hardest for me in the beginning. And even now, just sitting there knowing that I can't do anything to help my team, especially in the tournament, it really sucks. But I know that they know what to do, and they have more than enough skill, and I know that they have my back. So obviously, there's a sense of comfort in that, knowing that like those are my best friends, and I know I can count on them even while I'm out.
Just knowing how supportive the JFK community is, and obviously your family and
Yes.
how much they mean to you. What have been some of the best conversations you've had? Text messages, voicemails, whatever.
Um, I honestly couldn't even tell you. I have gotten so much love during this time that I didn't even realize I had. Like, the support has been literally endless, and I'm so grateful for everyone around me, even if it's people that I don't talk to like on a daily basis. Like it's just so amazing to see like how many people have reached out and like truly care. And I think that for me was the biggest thing, is people that like I wouldn't expect to reach out to me have, and that means more to me than like, they know it does.
Naturally, you're a gamer. You're someone who rises the occasion every time there's a competition. So for you, I know you're trying to take things patiently, but are you fighting the urge to, okay, I'm going to show them, I'm going to get back? I mean, that I don't even know if the Aaron Rodgers factor when he tears his Achilles and he's going to be back in, 6 weeks as opposed to 6 months or whatever that is. Do you have to fight back that competitive nature that you have
Yeah.
inside you?
Well, I was telling my friend, I was like, I want to be doing a backflip the day after I get out of surgery. And the first playoff game we had, it was like 4 days after my surgery. I was during halftime, I was shooting threes on my one leg.
Oh my goodness. And everybody's sitting there holding their breath. I guarantee it. Like, oh boy. Soccer coach is sitting there like grinding the nails. So for you being that competitor, wanting to get back out there, is it challenging? Like, do you have to hold yourself back in things that your mind's telling you, I can do this? There's no doubt in my mind.
Sorry.
I love it. Is there ever a time where, you have to hold yourself back?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like even when I was like shooting shots at halftime, I thought about it and I was like, wow, I probably shouldn't have done that. 4 days out of surgery. But I mean, I know my limit and like I know like how much I can do. So like it's just kind of like basing it off of like, even when people tell me to like stop doing stuff if I'm doing too much, I'm like, I kind of know like what my level is of like what I can do and what I can't right now. So like I kind of just base it on like how I'm feeling, you know what I mean?
So we talked about the support system. You said there's so many, too many to even start to mention, which is awesome and deserved. So for you, when you get back on that floor or the pitch or wherever you find yourself when you come back, what do you think that's going to be like? Like, have you closed your eyes and really put yourself in that moment yet, or are you kind of waiting because you don't want to get yourself too ramped up?
No, I've definitely thought about it. For me, I think now, like, this has really taught me to not take anything for granted. So, like, when my first time I step on the field and step on the court next year, I'm not going in with the same mentality that I have this year or years before, because obviously this has never happened to me. Um, like I just want to become a million times better than I was before. So to me, it's kind of just like that switch in like my mentality now. Like, I don't have all the time in the world, so I need to come out and prove myself.
Okay, stop. So you're telling me there's a second gear to DD Ryan that we haven't seen yet?
Yeah.
Oh, game over, folks. Thanks for
After
coming.
this, there will be.
Oh my god! Like they don't even need to show up. Like, best of luck. God bless you. We'll see you. Thanks for contributing, Didi. That's incredible. I mean, what a mindset to have. That there is a second gear. That that there's another beast inside of there that hasn't been fed yet. I mean, did you know this before the injury, or is this something that just kind of clicked for you and said, "Oh my gosh, here we go"?
But that's why I'm kind of grateful that this did happen. Like, obviously, it sucks, and I wish it didn't happen. But like, I'm trying to look at the positive end of things. Like, this is only going to make me stronger. And the main thing that I'm not worried about like my physical strength as much. I need to work on my mental strength. So that is going to be the biggest thing for me, like throughout this recovery process. And coming back from the injury is like every time I step on the field or the court, like I'm going to be grateful that I'm able to be there. You know what I mean? I know how it feels to sit on the bench now, watch my team from the sidelines, all of that. So like I think that is what is like the main motivator.
So basically what you're telling everybody right now, if I may read between the lines, is get your hits in now, because when Didi comes back, it's going to be trouble.
It might be.
I love it. I mean, listen, anytime there's a Ryan on the back of a jersey, you're probably in trouble. Everybody knows that. But let's talk about that family. I mean, your family, special family, huge group of supporters, not just for you, but for the entire community. What is it like growing up in that family and learning to be a communal supporter as your family has done for so long and for so well?
Yeah, I'm really grateful. I have such an amazing family. Funny story, my mom, the day she fell on ice during work the day before I got surgery, and she did not even care that she had like a broken arm. She was holding me, like picking me up after my surgery, helping me up the stairs, and like that just shows me like my family's so supportive. Like even when I'm down and my mom was down, like she still stepped up to help me. Like even my dad coming over my house every day, my grandparents, everyone, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, like literally everyone was there for me. And even just a text, like it means so much to me, like just for them to be reaching out. And I just know that like I'm surrounded by so much love by them. And my brothers, of course. I'm making them do a lot of stuff for me.
Atta girl. They can do
Even
it.
if they
They're
don't want
fine.
to. See, everyone knows them as like the Nick, Duncan,
Slam
and
dunk champion.
yeah, running down the court. Well, I know him as come upstairs and bring me water.
Ding ding Nick. Come
Bring me
on.
some food.
Bring the water. What's speaking of food, what's your go-to right now? Like what are you making Nick cook up for you in the air fryer?
Oh, I don't want him touching anything. I don't want him cooking me anything. He could just I'll just make him go get me stuff.
I love or what's the go-to for you?
Um, Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, Chipotle.
There's got to be a Panera in there too,
Oh
right? You
yes,
got to do.
Panera, of course.
Come
Of
on,
course.
come
That's
on,
all my
Didi.
dad gets me. That's all my
I
dad
would
gets me.
I would hope so. I would hope so. Um, let's let's talk about the relationship with your siblings. What is that like? I mean, the most competitive family I think I know is you guys. What is that dynamic like when you guys are playing a video game or Monopoly or
Oh, and
something along those lines?
it gets violent for sure. Um, it's kind of funny because like I feel like if I didn't have my three brothers, I wouldn't be like the same person that I am, like especially as an athlete. Like I play like I have brothers, and people have told me that before. So to me, like it's kind of just like I always want to one up them, which is hard, obviously, sometimes because they're like so much bigger and stronger than me. But it kind of like just like gives you motivation to be better, and like of course they make fun of me and knock me down, but like it makes me stronger. So I'm grateful, and they always support me no matter what. So for that, I'm really grateful too.
I mean, we've talked about your support a little bit. Let's talk about what you've been able to do for people all over. In that gymnasium, I've seen it with my own eyes. The little kids that look up to you, the next generation of Eagles, the next generation of Hoopers, the next generation of goal scorers, they look up to you with saucer eyes. I mean, just can't believe what you're doing. But the fact that you acknowledge them, what does it mean to you to look to the sidelines and to see the next generation with eyes just peeled on your jersey number or what you're doing in your every move?
To me, it kind of means like I want to show them that like you can be yourself. You don't have to be like everyone else. I think it's important to me that like it's great to be a good athlete, but it's even better to be a good person and good in the classroom and a good friend and a good teammate and a good sibling, a good daughter, whatever you are. So I think to me, it's like not so much about like how skilled I am at basketball when I'm playing or soccer. I think it's more about like how I treat everyone while I'm on the field or court. And that's more important to me. Like I want to set a good example for not only my teammates, but also the people watching. And you never want to be the person that was like, oh, she's really good, but you know, she's really mean when we're playing her. You know what I mean? So I think
Yeah.
that's like what's really important to me is just like being a good person because that adds a lot to someone and that makes you an even better player.
Last question I have for you, and I thank you again for the time. Who has been your role model along the way? I mean, on the floor, on the field, off the field, role models in your life that have made you who you are today, and that great young lady that you've become.
Um, Definitely my parents, but I look up to my brothers so much. Like, they probably don't know it, and it's probably bad that I'm saying this because now they're gonna know. But I look up to my brothers so much, like in everything. Like, they're great at what they do. And it kind of means a lot to me to have some people in my life that are so close to me that I can look up to, that I literally do everything with every day. So definitely my siblings I look up to, and also like it motivates me to be better because of them. So for that I'm so grateful. And of course just like knowing that everything that I do through God, like that motivates me even more too. Like I want to be a good role model for everyone through the Lord.
Didi, we're not worthy. I mean, these moments with you and to show who you are inside, not just who you are on the field or on the court, they're incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We are looking forward to seeing you March 22nd at Boardman for the All-Star game and honoring you for all the great things that you've done this season.
Thank you.
Prior to and after your injury, because that's important
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time again.
Thank you so much for having me.
You got it. We'll see you soon. The Ryan children here on YSN. What a great couple of interviews. Obviously, the Ryans very, very, very fortunate to have those youngsters rolling around with their name on the back of the jersey. But certainly the influence that those two have, I mean, you got to look at that entire family and go, wow. Like that those two are special. Naturally, the siblings are special. You know, it's Didi and three brothers. So now you understand a little bit more of why she is so resilient along the way. Because, I mean, anytime you grow up with three brothers, boy, oh boy, they're going to put you through the ringer. Yikes. And I really do believe that for Didi, the best is yet to come. I think that this injury is going to make her stronger. The adversity that she faces is going to make her a not just a better player, but a better person. Because, I mean, just a sophomore, right? And she's talking like she's a seasoned veteran, like someone that has been around and done it. And she had like 59 goals her freshman year or something like that. I don't have the exact number, but I know it was in that vicinity. She's incredible, and Nick is the same. And you can tell that they're both very, very humble individuals, and they don't have to be because they've got a lot going for them. So kudos to the Ryans and raising up some great kids.
Hearing that she tore the ACL but had no pain at all, I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah, that was
I've seen so many people unfortunately tear their ACL in all the sports, and I've seen some be able to like walk off the floor a little bit, or some be able to maybe stand on it. But I've never seen anyone that's like, I don't even feel it.
Well, and you know, we're not laughing at the situation. We're giggling because it's unique. And she was laughing at it. And I caught myself watching the tape back, and I'm like, man, I shouldn't have laughed there. But she was laughing because it was so unique. Like everybody talks about the puffy knee and you know the horror that comes with because it's not just the physical pain, it's the mental pain, because now you're thinking about, oh my gosh, everything I've worked for, I just lost.
That's why the trainer put her back in the game, because usually when you see a torn ACL, you see immediate swelling and you go, okay, probably tore it because it's swelling really bad right away. And if it's not, you're like, well, I guess she didn't tear anything. She should be able to go back out there. And
they're aliens. We just solved it. We just solved the case, Ant. They're both aliens.
Right.
Nick said, I wish I had the ability to fly. Dude.
Maybe he does.
Have you seen yourself?
Did you...
Like, have you, like, you jump out of the gym? Like, there's no barn that can contain you right now. And then for Didi, she doesn't even feel pain.
I've never seen Superman and Nick Ryan in the same place at the same time.
I mean, let's face it, he's got that look, right? He's got the look of Kal-El.
If he wore glasses, I'd be really suspicious.
I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Maybe that's it. Maybe they are from a different world. They are. I mean, they
powered by the yellow sun.
Well, in Ohio, you don't have to worry about that. They'd be equal to everybody else because we haven't seen the sun for like 6 months. But we're going to see it soon, I hear, and more of it because the days are getting longer. But we certainly want to thank the Ryans in all sincerity for stopping by. That was such a joy. And we've got 2 more interviews tomorrow with JFK As I said, we have Anaya Johnson and Gianna Pompilia, and we have Christian Swager and Henry Phillips that will join us tomorrow
Gonna be a
as
busy
well.
day
And
tomorrow.
yeah, we're hoping to get a couple more interviews. It might be a
Ooh.
long show on a Tuesday, so hoping to get a couple more, and then we will tell you where we're going and where we're headed and what games we're going to be having available on the Tuesday night district final night, right?
District semis for boys.
Semis, correction, yeah, because it was sectionals on all the different days are confusing me. I got to be honest. It does it every single
All these
year.
rounds, sectional.
Doesn't
regional,
matter. It's
it-
boys, girl. Like that's why the graphics are so challenging. I'm sitting there and like triple checking. Okay, is it a sectional? Is it a district? Is it a final? Is it a semi? Like there's 38 rounds you have to get through to get to a state championship nowadays. So, yeah, Bonnie, absolutely. So much respect for those two. I mean, these just incredible young people that are. I have to believe that they're going to do unbelievable things once they move on to school. I just got to protect my job from Nick Ryan. I think at this point because
He's coming for you.
he's good at everything he does, and he was eyeing up our job. And so, I mean, I'd like to say I'd fight him, but he'd probably beat me hands down. That wouldn't even be close to a fight. He can jump over. I mean, he's Superman. So, but the one thing we got to put a little pressure on him because he said, I might do the slam dunk competition. I might not.
Whoa.
I was like, wait a minute, pal. Wait. He's like, I got people telling me to be in it. I got people telling me I don't have anything to prove anymore. Whoa. Okay. All right, Nick. I think he'll be in it. I think he'll be a last-second adjustment. We're going to push. We're going to put the pressure on him. I said, just don't get hurt. Please don't get hurt. So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited to have Dee Dee there as well. And, again, acknowledge her for what should have been a without a shadow of a doubt, another potential MVP-type year in the Valley. But we have another invitation that'll go out to JFK. I bet you can probably guess who it's going to because we talked about her a little bit today.
I don't know.
Incredible showcase. So we're excited to and thankful. And Elise Consiglio, we got to send a shout out to her. She's the one who allows us and helps us set these up. So thank you, Elise. Appreciate you. Always. And yeah, 4 more. I guess they did them together though, so I don't know if you count them as 2 interviews or 4 interviews.
2 interviews with 4 players. Yeah, whatever.
It's challenging, right? Because we're judged by numbers as well. So
Right.
like, what do we do here? So anyway, we have one more thing to get to before the day is over. It is the Joe Dickey Electric. What's your spark?
DJ, before the spark,
Oh.
we need a report. We need a report because you did all those fast food questions and you went to Middle Ridge after the show. Did you find Long John Silver's?
First off, we were lied to, Ant.
Ah.
Let's start there. There is no Long John Silver's in Mineral Ridge. Oh no, my friends. No. It's in Austintown. It's in Austintown. Mike's, and by the way, for everybody that bombarded me with texts and messages after the show about where in the hell Long John Silver's are, I don't care. I will never eat there again, nor subject my family to the mediocre fast food chain known as Long John Silver's. Brady Balestrino is probably going to get an NIL from Long John Silver himself because he likes it. I mean, when I went there, and thank you to the Balestrinos, by the way, for hosting a wonderful after-signing party where, coincidentally, there was no Long John Silver's, but there was Chick-fil-A. There was Chick-fil-A. There was delicious pizza, which I don't know where they came from. Yeah, there was all kinds of stuff, but no Long John Silver's in sight. By the way, there was no fish patties or chicken that wasn't disgustingly. They had delicious chicken Chick-fil-A nuggets, which I partook in those. Partaken. I ate them. That's what I did. But no, I was lied to. We were all lied to. America was lied to and we
Dang.
won't stand for it. There is no Long John Silver's in Mineral
No.
Ridge. It
No,
is
I feel
indeed in
sheepish.
Austintown. Well, just for those of you that were out there looking for it, because I know I wasn't the only one looking for the Long Johns in Mineral Ridge. It doesn't exist. So if you're looking for it, they were talking about the one in Austintown. And yeah, I'm guessing that it's on par with the ones across the nation, which there's a reason there's only like 6 of them left, by the way. They're going down. They're going down quick. What do we have this? Put on the pressure. No, there hasn't been a repeat dunker, Rob, because
There's only been one.
there's only been one contest. So what's going to be interesting is if and when Nick Ryan decides to partake in our slam dunk contest, next year comes around, there's going to be a new champion. And will they be compared to? Is it going to be the Patrick Mahomes to Tom Brady? Like, do you compare him to Nick Ryan? And what do you do there? Because Nick seems to think that he can not be dethroned here. I think that was the general idea behind all of this. However, if he's a senior and doesn't compete, I mean, somebody else wins, he's dethroned.
And then that other somebody isn't a senior and comes back and wins back-to-back the next year.
Oh, writes a legacy.
Mm.
Oh boy. I'm just, maybe Nick should come. I don't know. Just a thought. I don't know. While he's eligible, I don't know, Ant. But that's a report on the
Long time.
Mineral Ridge Long John Silver's that's out there. Let's get to the Joe Dickey Electric and get the hell out of Dodge. It is time for the Joe Dickey Electric. What's Your Spark? Presented by our friends over at Joe Dickey Electric. They are everything electrical, and they are available 24/7, 365 on the web at dickeyelectric.com. I should have went with Mineral Ridge Long John Silver's as my spark.
I stole it. I'm sorry. That's me.
You're good. You're good. What is your spark, Mr. Hartwig?
My spark today is a shout out to former South Range Raider Izzy Lamparty, a senior at Georgetown, fourth in the conference tournament coming up on Saturday. And Izzy Lamparty is leading her team in rebounds and averaging 6.8 rebounds per and about 7.7 points per. So good luck to her in her final campaign, trying to get a conference tournament win, lock a ticket into the NIA. Oh geez. What's the
NAIA?
There it is. Couldn't say it, but into that tournament with
Did
the
you say
conference.
Georgetown?
Yeah, not like the Georgetown Hoyas.
Okay, I was getting real. I was like, wait a minute.
Small
We
Georgetown.
missed some big news, buddy. If Izzy's playing for Georgetown.
small Georgetown, but big player in Izzy.
Oh,
Good luck,
absolutely.
Izzy.
Yeah, good luck, Izzy. We're proud of you. Even if it's not the Georgetown Hoyas, like Anthony did not allude to.
Tigers.
He's really Long John Silver in this one. Huh?
There we go.
But we're proud of you regardless. Mine is going to, I had one and I lost it. I'm sorry. Mine is going to be the fact that, dude, there's a lot of great basketball players in our area. There's no doubt. And what's funny is being able to see them, right, on a regular basis. And when the going gets tough, the tough get going, and you see them stand out, there's not a game that they could lose that we're not going to sit there and be absolutely just aw shucks proud of them. You know what I mean? And I know there's a lot of people that'll be like, okay, you're just supporting whatever, man. Hey, you be you, right? We'll be us. I am super proud. And I know it sucks to lose. It is terrible. But man, somebody's got to lose and somebody's got to win. And it's not always the best team that particular day that wins, right? You can play we saw it. We saw it earlier this season. Nobody in Columbiana wants to hear about it. They go undefeated, and in the first tournament game, they lose. It sucks. It's awful. Does that undo what they did? No, absolutely not. Keep your heads high. There's only one winner in 7 divisions when it's all said and done. If you're out there, if you're going through it, if you're trying to battle those emotions, let them loose. And then get back on the horse and ride harder. That's all. That is all you can do. And the people that I do feel bad for, and you and I talk about it all the time, Ant, are the seniors that regret. They regret maybe not being excited. They regret maybe not looking back at that last practice and taking everything in. They regret not leaving it all on the floor that last game. They regret. But if you've done all of that, you got nothing to hang your head about.
Right. Nothing.
Nothing. Don't let anybody make you feel bad about your effort. Don't let anybody make you feel bad about being on the wrong side of the scoreboard once in your life. The majority of us are not going to win our last game. The majority of you are not going to play at the next level. There's a lot of people that sit there and say signing days are only for the elite. They're only for the Division I. Bullcrap. I'm telling you right now, if you're D2, D1, NAIA, NCAA, JUCO, D3, D4, D900, I don't care. You have beaten the odds. You're going to play at the next level when a lot of people are telling you you can't do it. A lot of people are saying you shouldn't be there. It doesn't matter how long you play. It doesn't matter if you do anything other than graduate college. Whatever gets you there. Whatever is the carrot to your horse that allows you to go do what you want in the real world. If sports is that channel, use it. As someone whose parents use sports as a channel to get me an education, it is never the wrong path. Congratulations, all of you, every single one of you, on all your success, on all the great moments. Take these crappy, lemon sours, turn them around, and let them help you in moving forward, because that's what it's about. It's about taking it and using it for good. Allowing people, raising people up. There's going to be injury. There's going to be devastation. There's going to be death, illness. There's going to be losses. Take all of this and make you a better person so you can give back to those who either haven't been through it or are going through it. That is the purest form of being a champion right there. That is a show. It is YSN Live. We will see you tomorrow with more JFK interviews, and who knows who's going to stop by on the YSN Live on Tuesday. For Anthony, I am DJ. This has been YSN Live for Monday, the 24th.
It's the 24th.
24th. I should have known that. Why? I don't know, but I should have known that. Hey, Ant, have a great day. We'll see all of you very soon right here on Your Sports. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.